Loss doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of a new story for yourself. It can be the point in time where something major hits you and you realize you want to rewrite your story and rewrite the life that you're living. Any time is a good time to start a new beginning. And if loss has impacted you like it has me, then now might be the perfect time to start fresh. Welcome to the Self-Paid Club podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Peddle, a small-town wife and mom who started my first business at 17 and never looked back. For over a decade, I've been helping other ambitious souls build insane wealth in both life and business. We believe that success comes from growth as the whole person, mastering your time, money, and mindset for a balance between all three. Ditch the hustle culture and achieve your dream life by embracing your own vibe, doing it weird, and doing it your way. This is your destination for all things business strategy, mindset work, success, personal development, marketing, and everything in between. If your mission is to build an empire while having fun, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I'm no stranger to loss. I've lost pets, family members, and friends. As an entrepreneur, it takes a damn lot of effort to push past the personal struggles, especially when it comes to loss, and keep your head in your business. This week marks 1 year since my dad passed away, and I think it's important to talk about. As entrepreneurs, we sometimes tend to think that we're supposed to push aside the personal stuff and hide the struggles we go through in order to appear put together and professional. I'm challenging that narrative by saying we should be real and open, and that starts with myself. I haven't talked about the struggles in my life very much, but I believe if it can help even one person, then it's worth it. So here we go. In this episode of the Self-Paid Club podcast, we're talking all about overcoming loss and rewriting your story, because you shouldn't allow loss to have the final say. If you've been here for a while and you've been listening for a while since we launched, then you'll know that I'm not afraid to talk about the hard topics, and I'm not afraid to talk about the real things that we go through as entrepreneurs. If this is your first episode, it's going to be a bit heavier than usual, but welcome, and I'm glad you're here. I used to freeze when I experienced loss. My business would come to a complete standstill. I would ghost my audience and disappear for days, weeks, or even months without a word. This was super unhealthy for both me on a personal level, as well as for my business, because who can trust someone that just up and disappears with no explanation? And it wasn't just if I had a loss in my life. It was when anything got hard on a personal level. I didn't know how to cope with it without allowing it to trickle over and affect my business as well. You could say I was terrible at separating personal matters and business. In 2017, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. He did the radiation, the chemo, and had the surgery, and was able to recover within a matter of months. If you know someone that has had cancer, then you know the type of absolute hell it takes to push through a disease like that. Without going into too much detail, because I don't have a lot of experience talking about this like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to skip ahead to 2023. After 6 years of recovery and healing, my dad's cancer came back. It had spread throughout his body, and he fought harder and stronger than I've ever seen and was the strongest person I've ever known. And just over another year, for whatever reason, it was his time. That was July 2024. I took a few days, announced what happened to my audience, and informed them that I would be away for the month of August to spend time with my family, but to expect me back in September. The old me never would have been able to handle that situation like that. I would have went into a downward spiral and allowed it to consume me and my business. I wouldn't have said a word and disappeared without a trace. For who knows how long. But you can't operate like that if you want to run a successful business. A business with clients who trust you wholeheartedly and are willing to work with you again and again. So after a tremendous loss like that, yeah, I'd say I have a few strategies I can pass on to you to hopefully help you learn how to handle loss in your own life, continue working on your business with strategies to show up for yourself even when it's hard, and rewrite your story moving forward. Because it's still a story worth telling. I wasn't able to change the way I show up until I realized that my business is essentially an extension of me, of who I am as a person. That's why it's called a personal brand, right? My brand is me at its core. And when you're going through something as powerful and earth-shattering as loss, especially one that runs deep, it needs to be felt in both your personal space and your business as well. You have to let it run its course. What I mean by this is you can't pretend that everything is okay in your business. You need to let people in. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible for you to keep showing up because you can't show up and pretend everything's okay when it's not, right? You need to let people in. Maybe not on a deep level, especially in the beginning when you're still actively going through it, but on a level where your audience and your clients can understand a little bit about what you're going through so they're able to give you grace when it comes to deadlines, launches, coaching sessions, and other things that need rescheduling for a later date. Because we're all human and your clients will understand if you need to take some time, but you have to tell them. When you experience something hard in your life, whether it's loss or something equally as difficult, the first step is to show up as the real authentic version of yourself, even through the personal struggle that you're going through. Tell people that you're currently navigating something tough and let them know what they can expect from you over the next days or weeks. You don't even have to go into really deep detail. You don't have to say what you're navigating. You can just say that you're navigating something tough and that they need to give you a little bit of time. And tell them what they can expect from you, meaning, are you going to still be showing up? Are you going to completely disappear for a few weeks? Like, what can they expect over the coming days and weeks? This might seem like common sense to you or to some people, but when you're going through something hard, it's hard to think about. It's hard to actually figure out what to do and how even to move forward and where to even begin. So the first step is to tell them what they can expect from you over the coming days and weeks. Next, once you've taken some time away and you're ready to step back in, I don't want to say jump in because sometimes it needs to be gradual for your own mental health, right? So instead of jumping back in, we're getting ready to step back into the business. Once you're ready, you need to start thinking about how you'd like to move forward because sometimes the things we go through change us to our core. For instance, after I lost my dad last year and I took that time away from my business, I thought long and hard about what I was building and what I wanted for my life. And it dawned on me that I wasn't excited to get back to work. I didn't love what I was building. It felt like I was forcing myself. That's not what entrepreneurship should feel like. You should be lit up every single day, excited to get back after a break and show up for yourself. And I also no longer wanted to be part of the 24/7 hustle culture where you have to grind and grind and grind and work and put everything else on the back burner. I learned the hardest fucking lesson of my life last summer, and that's how important family is. How you can't waste time when it comes to spending it with the ones you love because the opportunity can be taken away at any moment. So I wanted to build a business around my life and my family, not the other way around. So I knew something had to change. And then Chad and I found out we were pregnant, and that solidified what I knew I had to do. I burned everything to the ground, and from the ashes, a beautiful new membership was born. One where my multi-passionate mind could create new resources, masterclasses, templates, and courses, and house them all under one roof. I no longer limit myself because I love creating new value for you, and I no longer force myself to work on offers I'm not totally obsessed with. I make sure every minute I spend working on my business is worth it. If I'm going to be working on my business and taking time away from my family and taking time away from doing the other things that I love, I want to make sure it's worth it. If I had forced myself to get back to work without evaluating where I was going, none of this would have been possible. Nothing would have changed. So before you jump back into your business, think about how you'd like to move forward. And when you're ready to step on the gas again, I encourage you to focus on the small wins, no matter how small they are. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put too much pressure to make huge progress and huge strides right away because it's going to be gradual at the beginning. You're going to want to just focus on the small wins. Congratulate yourself for putting one foot in front of the other and showing up. You need to make success depend on the progress and not the results. Loss doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of a new story for yourself. It can be the point in time where something major hits you and you realize you want to rewrite your story and rewrite the life that you're living. Any time is a good time to start a new beginning. And if loss has impacted you like it has me, then now might be the perfect time to start fresh. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Self-Paid Club podcast and for coming along with me on this journey. I truly love what we're building together, and I hope you'll stick around for more. Until next time, remember why you're working so damn hard to build this thing, and stay wealthy, my friend.